So I thought I'd do something a little fun today, and that is talking about my favorite IDW Godzilla comics. So as always, this is a top 10 list, so if you think a comic should be higher or lower on the list, that's totally fine. I got no problem with you. But here's the thing. I haven't read every single IDW Godzilla book. Some are still in trade. I'm sure I'll do this list in a few years' time and talk about, probably have Mothra, Queen of the Monsters, or Godzilla Heist, or the new Kaisei era of Godzilla books on there. This is just this is just what I have read so far. So this list could easily I could do this video in 3 years time, and probably the list will be a bit different. Also, another thing, I will not be doing crossovers on this list. Godzilla crossovers, I was thinking about doing Godzilla crossovers, but the thing is, we're right now doing Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe and Godzilla vs. Kong vs. Justice League 2 in DC right now, and we're also going to be doing Godzilla vs. Ninja Turtles soon, so doing a list would just be immediately void if I did a list now. Besides, the Godzilla crossovers, I don't think I have enough for 10. Well, actually, I do if I count the Marvel books separately. But yeah, so I'm going to wait. That's probably going to be that's going to be a next year thing. Barring, of course, they don't announce another massive Godzilla crossover for 2026. But yeah, I was going to do my top 10 favorite Godzilla crossovers, and also have my good friend Matt Denian on here. But then, between Godzilla TMNT, Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2, and Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe, I'll wait till those are done and then probably do the list then. But yeah, so these are my favorite IDW, and solely IDW, because I haven't read everything because the Dark Horse stuff is hard to collect, and also there isn't a lot of stuff for Legendary either. So this is solely the IDW books. And as always, if you have a comic on here, let me know in the comments below where they rank for you. So let's start off with number 10. Godzilla Legends. This technically isn't about Godzilla, but he does feature in here. This is an anthology story focusing on different stories involving Rodan, Titanosaurus, Anguirus, Kumanga, and Hedorah. I think this comic is really carried by Hedorah and Anguirus' stories, because Kumanga isn't really even about Kumanga's story. Titanosaurus' story is okay. It's the only time we saw the simians shown up in the previous continuity of IDW. And Rodan's story is god-awful. But I think what really carries it is the Anguirus and Hedorah stories. Hedorah's story, written and drawn by Matt Frank, is awesome. It's Hedorah the Anguirus story is written and drawn by Matt Frank. And yeah, we have Anguirus fighting Destroya, and the fight is awesome. I really do enjoy it. And the other one by Chris Mowry, who, trust me, we'll get to those two together again in the near future of this video. Chris Mowry's Hedorah story involving Hedorah versus Mechagodzilla versus Godzilla is really solid. But I think, again, the Titanosaurus story is okay. Kumanga isn't about Kumanga, and Rodan's story is just awful. It's just garbage. But I think technically 3, because I do like the Titanosaurus story. I think it's really solid enough to get it on this list. Next up is a recent comic, and that is Godzilla Sons of Giants. I've been really liking Frank Treri's Godzilla Here They Be Dragons continuity, and I'm really excited to see how it ends in Here There Be Aliens, which I know is almost over, and we'll get the trade next year. This comic is really cool it's almost like a Godzilla meets Assassin's Creed kind of thing, because it's like a cabal of Illuminati type people who worship the kaiju and hide their existence in order to make sure the kaiju can protect them from aliens. Yeah, the comic is more about it showcases the secret history of the kaiju with humanity, and it's a little slower, but I do enjoy it. I think it's more of the second piece of what is to be a wider story, but I think it's really cool. Hopefully, Here There Be Aliens will end the series on a high note. Next up, Godzilla, Skate or Die. I was actually surprised of how much I liked this book. Looking back on it, I really love the artwork in here. It's written and drawn by Luis Joy, who they do a phenomenal job of capturing that kind of Australian kind of feel. I also love how bright and vibrant the comic feels at multiple points. I also really like the appreciation for Varan. Varan is a kaiju that I always enjoyed, and it's fun. He never gets any recognition. He hardly ever gets recognition for anything. So to see him be the main antagonist that Godzilla fights rather than just Ghidorah for the umpteenth time, it's really nice to see Godzilla fighting another kaiju that isn't in his regular rogues gallery. So I do appreciate that. Also, the kids are really fun, too. Yeah. And it's just, like, artwork like this that just makes you go, damn. This is a really solid one. It's like, imagine, like your typical Skater Boy kind of movie, but if you threw Godzilla in the middle of it. That's what I think. I think it's good. Next up, Godzilla Cataclysm. This is written by Cullen Bunn, who... This comic, it made me have, I have an appreciation for it because I like in theory, the concept could have been better. And I feel like if this book got at least 3 more issues, it would have been a more fleshed out story. But it's only I think 5 issues long. But this is a really cool idea of that kaiju destroyed humanity, and humanity's just kind of living in the aftermath of what the monsters have done. I like how there's how they use Megaguirus, Biolante especially. And having Destroya, I will say that Destroya just comes out of nowhere, but whatever. I feel like if this book this would be higher on the list if this comic had a little more room to breathe. But looking back on it, I really do enjoy it, and I do like the artwork as well. I just love shots like that of showing Godzilla just being like the Punisher of mankind. Yeah. So kicking back, we have Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons. This was a great idea. Godzilla versus pirates. How could you not like the idea of I love the idea of Godzilla versus pirates. And again, much like with Skate or Die, there was this really cool idea involving monsters you don't see Godzilla normally fight. Yes, we do get Ebera back in here, but we also get Udaka, who I think this is Udaka's first appearance in the IDW comics. So to see Udaka, who usually just fights Kong or Frankenstein monster, it's really cool. And they actually make him a threat to Godzilla. But I love the secret history stuff. I love how they utilize Godzilla in here. Yeah. And I love how they use Monster Island and have it when they go to Monster Island, it almost feels like a Ray Harryhausen movie. And that's what this comic feels like on a whole. It just feels like a Ray Harryhausen movie, but with Godzilla as the stop motion monster. Yeah. So next up, Godzilla, History Greatest Monsters. Technically, this is called Godzilla the Ongoing Series, but it only lasted for 13 issues. This comic is part of the original IDW continuity, and this basically sets off after Eric Powell's disastrous miniseries. And yeah, I like the idea of what they do in here of having a kaiju task force hunting down the monsters. We also get some unique battles in here, like Titanosaurus and Rodan. We also get a 3-way fight involving... it was a fight I was not expecting, because it's 3 monsters you would not expect to see each other fight. It was Batra. It was Batra and Spinosaurus. Yeah, why did I almost say Spinosaurus? Space Godzilla. Yeah, Titanosaurus and... I had to look it up because I forgot, because I knew it was Batra. But it was Batra and Titanosaurus versus Space Godzilla. You had Rodan and Anguirus take on Gigan. And you had Godzilla fighting Hedorah, of course. But you also had Kiryu and Kumanga take on Kaiser Ghidorah. It was stuff like that really... It gives a lot of appreciation for the Earth monsters. And what I also like is that this was basically... it's very much hinted at that Space Godzilla was the mastermind behind this alien kaiju invasion. And if you're wondering why didn't they use Ghidorah and why'd they go with Kaiser, it's because in the original continuity they said like Ghidorah was more like a mystical monster, but they were half in, half out about it. That's one of the problems I had with the original Godzilla ongoing continuity, was what the fuck are we doing with Ghidorah? But I think this is pretty cool. I think this is a pretty cool series. Excuse me. So next up, Godzilla Rage Across Time. This was the last of the original IDW Godzilla books, of the original era. It's an anthology series of Godzilla in the throughout eras of time, and yes, this is where Godzilla goes Kratos on the Greek gods. You know, it took Kratos like 3 games to take out the Greek pantheon. It took Godzilla 5 minutes. So, just saying. But yeah, we also get to see Godzilla in like fighting the Yamato no Orochi from Japan's mythology. We see like Godzilla at the time of dinosaurs. We also get a Mothra versus Megaguirus in the Dark Ages. This is a pretty cool book, and it has a loose connecting thread, but it doesn't matter. This is just Godzilla's here to fuck your day up, regardless of what time period it is. Anyway, next up, a book that actually surprised me as to how good it was. Godzilla War for Humanity. This is a book that really surprised me in terms of like how good of a book it was. Like, I was genuinely shocked. The book is written by Andrew McLean with artwork by Jake Smith, and it feels like a love letter to Showa era books. Like, look at this. I also love the humanity this book has of like talking about like parents and the trauma they put on their children. And Zespora, the original kaiju of this book, is actually kind of terrifying. I like how he's like a spawn of Hedorah, and he's like also like mind controlling the other kaiju. I really did like it way more. And again, it shows a lot of love for the Earth kaiju. That's, I think, what really, like, when you show... don't get me wrong. Ghidorah, of course, is my favorite Godzilla monster outside of Godzilla. But I sometimes get tired of all the space monsters, and it's just like, hey, there's monsters on Earth too, guys. So it's nice to see that. And again, it just feels like such a love letter to the Showa era. Anyway, next up, Godzilla Rulers of Earth. I have all 6 of the original volumes. This comic is almost perfection. I think it does kind of peter out towards the end, but that was more like because they got canceled. Chris Mowry and Matt Frank coming together to make what is essentially one of the most definitive Godzilla books ever. It's from Godzilla fans to Godzilla fans. It is a love letter to the fandom. Like, hell, Godzilla's first fight is Zilla, and it's an actual proper fight with Zilla, not like in Final Wars. It actually made me like... There's also, I love the in-jokes for fans as well. This feels like fanfiction come to life, and there's so many great monster fights and character moments, like having Godzilla fight the Gargantuas, one of my favorite fights in the comics. Gigan versus Space Godzilla was awesome. You also had Jet Jaguar just be a fucking beast the whole time. Like, when he kills Orga, like, he literally shrinks down, goes into Orga's mouth, then expands. He literally does the Ant-Man Thanos meme, only it's not up his butt. Then you also had him, like, fighting Destroya, and he flies into Kiryu and uses the Absolute Zero Cannon to freeze Destroya, and then just fucking shatters him. Like, Jet Jaguar's a beast in this book. It's such a great book, but again, I feel like the ending was, again, rushed, and that wasn't their fault. But still, I feel like that's what keeps it from being the #1 spot. But still, this is great. Absolute cinema. So what is my #1 pick for Godzilla? You even have to ask. Guys, come on. If you know Godzilla IDW books, then you know the Half-Century War is the definitive Godzilla comic. It is one of the best... It's not only the best Godzilla IDW book to this date, but it is hands down one of the best pieces of Godzilla medium ever. James Stokoe made it a work of art with this comic. I mean... fucking... Look at this. Look at this artwork. Look at it. Look at it. Like, fucking that. Or, I don't know, that. It's just absolute perfection with this book. It is a great comic. It is a story that is a love letter to Godzilla and all eras of Godzilla. This book is just absolute perfection. And like I said, this comic is, if I was to show someone a Godzilla comic, this is the one I always go to if you can find it. So there you go. So there you go, guys. Those are my top 10 Godzilla comics. And like I said, maybe in a few years, this list will be completely different. Obviously, with like, the Kaisei era coming out. I only read in trade, and again, it just started as of this recording, so yeah. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what are your top 10 favorite Godzilla comics? And yes, I know some people say, what about Godzilla in Hell? I haven't read it. It's the one, it's my White Whale comic. I literally have not been able to find Godzilla in Hell in trade forever, like the regular trade. And I know someone's going to say, why don't you just pick up the collected edition? I already have the other books. It would be a waste of fucking money for one book. I'd like to get the original trade. Jesus. Anyway, so there you go, guys. That's pretty much my list. You guys tell me in the comments below what's yours. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.